Hey, I'm Eric Lee with Starfish Coaching and Designers Business Academy. I am happy to bring you another interview in my Founder Success series. And this time, I'll be interviewing Jen Thaker of Thaker Financial. She went from a six-digit big pharma secure job to finding her own business in financial investment. So we're going to dive in to see how she did that. But most of all, she has some great tips that she wants to share with us on living your life, the magical life, full of purpose and passion. So now let's welcome Jen Thaker. Welcome back to Starfish Coaching. I'm Eric, and today I have the honor of having Jen Thaker on here. I've known her for a while. We've become friends, and we knew from business networking group. And what I really admire about Jen is how purposeful she is with everything that she does. So I want to have a conversation with her today about exactly that. So welcome, Jen. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Eric. Such an honor to be here with you today.
Awesome. So maybe before we dive in, why don't you just introduce a bit about yourself, what you do, and how you even got into what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so I'm Jen Thaker, and I'm Thaker Financial. So one of the big things for me has always been health is wealth. I spent a long time working in the medical field and really saw the importance of finances and money when it comes to the other things that happen in life. So I made a decision a number of years ago that I was going to start Thaker Financial and really get into the community and start talking more about what happens when something happens with your health if you don't have a financial plan.
Right. Yeah. So that, I guess that found you here. And how has the journey been? Because although you work on an umbrella, it's very much like your own business. How has that journey been for you?
Yeah, it's kind of amazing when you think about it. When I decided to leave my six-figure career and take the jump to start my own business, one of the first things that came up was, what do I call myself or my business? And how do I make that decision of, do I pick a random financial name? Do I go under someone else's name? And you and I have talked about this before, but meditation and yoga and breath work, I have a spiritual practice that I've been doing for 5 years, and I meditated on it. And what came to me was all the years I worked in the medical field, I was known as Jen Thaker, big smile, long dark hair. So why not pick the name for a company that would really encompass what it means to me? And that's how I came to decide on Thaker Financial. It also helps that I have a really unique last name. So, there's not a lot of Jen Thakers out there. I might be the only one.
Right. No, that's great. I also know that you were recognized recently for women in insurance. So I totally congrats, but tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I think for women in the financial world, there's not as many of us yet as there could be. And, we might be speaking a little bit of a different language. So, yes, I can help business owners and entrepreneurs save on taxes and maximize, their investments and protect them with insurance and do all the other things, but also really talk to someone to say, what are your hopes and dreams? I love to ask, what's a good life? What's a great life? What would your life be if it was absolutely magical? And then weave money into there to see how I can help someone take those steps to hopefully end up living their best financial life.
Yeah, I love that, right? Because there's so many aspects to finance, and I would say that a lot of people are ignorant to that. So you're providing a great service, but you're looking at it holistically in terms of their whole, your term magical life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really nice. And I remember last time we talked, you did talk about magical life and your kind of bucket list and live it list and stuff. Maybe share with our audience about that, because I remember I love that concept.
Yeah, so a number of years ago, I've had an illness since I was young, which is why I really started to take money very seriously, even as a teenager. And through that experience and having some tough battles with illness, you realize at a young age when you face your own mortality, you start thinking about how do I want to live my life? if this was my last year. And it's interesting, when I was in my 20s, that was, work hard in the corporate world, make as much money as possible, because money is going to be what's going to save me. And then in my mid 30s, I got very, very ill. And I remember arguing with the doctors and saying, "Are you sure I'm that sick? And it's not just in my head." And these doctors were like, "You are very, very ill. We don't even understand how you've still been working and
Wow.
functioning." That during that time goes to show the difference between a 25-year-old's mind when they have a health crisis and a 35-year-old's mind when they have a health crisis. And I thought, I really love my life. I love what I do for work. I want to have my life back. How can I fight to get well? And that was really the beginning of me going deeper into my spiritual journey. While the doctors were trying to do everything they could, I had the blessing of having no financial concerns. So the only thing I had to focus on was, how could I add to my healing to get well? And the doctors called me a medical testament to myself. I was able to get my body into remission. And during that time, a few things came up. So one of those was, you know, what's on my bucket list? And while I was, sitting here and thinking, what are the things I want to do? I created a list. And one of the things on that list was starting my own business, finally taking the plunge to leave the security
Great.
of my 6-figure corporate career and starting Thaker Financial. I'd known for a long time that it was probably going to be financial services that I would do. But, it's hard to leave something that you enjoy and love. And it was a medical field, which I have a huge passion for.
Right.
So that was one of the things. And then I started thinking, well, what happens when I finish the bucket list? Because
Mm.
bucket list is kick the bucket. What do you
Right.
want to do before you die? And the last thing on my bucket list was a hot air balloon ride in Cappadocia in Turkey. And I was there in 2019, right before the pandemic. And 3 a.m. on the bus as we drove out to this random Cappadocia, this crazy landscape, I started writing my live it list. What are the things I want to do every single day that light up my life, not in relation to before I die, but that made today magical and perfect for me?
Oh wow, that's awesome. I love the perspective that you take on that. Right? It's like glass half full or glass half empty. Right? Live it
Right?
is full. Right? There's so much potential to that.
Or just thank God I have a glass.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Super empowering. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, so you were sharing like your kind of moment when you gave up the six figure, and that's like safety, and then starting your own business. I Please share with us how that was for you, because I do talk to a lot of startups and business owners, and I would say, especially for startups, that first step is probably the most scariest. Was it for you, or was it nope? You knew that was what you were going to do. How was it for you?
I think when I've been thinking about it before, it was scary. And then coming out of this illness, it was scarier to not do the things that I
Right.
wanted to experience. So it was scarier thinking that I'd be here now in my 40s, maybe still doing the same thing and realizing I didn't love it anymore because I didn't take the chance to do it. And I do believe the sooner you take the plunge, I call it like, you just dive head first straight in. But the sooner you take it, the sooner you turn around on the other side of it 4 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, and you're like, whew, I did it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And that fear is just in the moment. If you kind of can fast forward, it's nothing, right? But people get stopped by that. So I'm super happy that you were motivated and that kind of situation in your life helped you push it over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. So let me ask you this question. It seems like you're very purposeful in life, especially, and you're in line with your passion. Um, what's If you were to give advice to someone on how to find that, like connect with that purpose and passion, what would you say? Because I do talk to people who just have no clue of that, and they're envious but they don't know how to get there.
Yeah. Uh, my tips would probably not be that different from yours. I would say the journey is inwards, to actually spend time with yourself and ask yourself, what are you passionate about? And what is your gift that you have to share with one person or with the world? It doesn't have to be so grand, but it's really, it was an inwards journey for me. It was going in and saying, okay, I have a great life. What would my magical life look like? What would I be saying? What would I be doing? And who would I be surrounded by? And who would I be helping?
Right.
And my one constant, put myself through university working in a pharmacy. I've got a degree in psychology. My constant has always been that I want to be in service to others. And for a long part of my life, almost 15 years, that was through something in the medical field. And to really come to that realization that I've believed since I was young that health is wealth. And here I have the financial knowledge plus the medical knowledge. And it seemed like magic when it came together, but I had been working on it. I had been going inwards and saying, how do I connect my passion to purpose to be in service?
Right. No, that's great. Yeah, I think that's a good perspective to take. Is what does that magical life look like, and then you can build from there, right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. What would you say is missing right now in the world, and that there should be more of?
Well, I definitely think compassion and kindness, first starting towards ourselves. We live in a society where everyone's really hard on themselves.
Mhm.
And when you work in financial services, as I do, there's so many people that feel shame around money, regret. They don't want to speak about it. I often say, what is your first money memory? What did you learn as a child, and how does that now form who you are as an adult and how you feel about, is there scarcity? Is there abundance? And I think the journey to true financial freedom and what I call living your best financial life is really starting to ask some of those those questions, and that comes from some self-love and self-compassion. Why do I feel this way? Why do I want what I want? And then when you get to the root of it, find some experts out there to help you. Get coaching from Eric and find a financial advisor that you trust to be with you there through that journey to give you the tools for how to
Right.
access it.
Yeah. No, that's so great. Thank you so much for that. Um, I would say that what I want to know last is just what are some big goals for your business and career, because you've done so well transitioning, going from working in a very secure job to growing your own business, and it's been going great, super success. What's the big goal now? What's your next step?
So I actually, when I came into the industry, already had an idea of what I wanted to create and do. And something really important to me is inspiring more women to come into the financial world. There are amazing men in the financial world, but there just aren't enough women. And we've talked about this. About 80% of my clients are men, because
Hmm.
I think men can be a lot more comfortable with saying, I need to talk about my finances and I need these solutions to be put in place in my company, in my personal life. And, they're comfortable. Whereas for women, speaking about money there hasn't been comfort. There might not have been knowledge transfer of what they needed to do. So my hope is to inspire some women to come into the industry, be able to teach them, train them my way of looking at it, health as well, and how do you live your best financial life, and inspire them to start their own business, to give them that confidence working alongside me, possibly as an assistant for a few years. And yeah, I saw that very, very clearly when I made the decision that I wanted to pay this forward. And I had a lot of blessings to be able to start this business. I came from big corporate career. I had savings so I could start this and build it how I wanted to. I had my health for the first time in you know 20 years. I woke up almost 5 years ago completely well, and I had not felt well in my entire life that I could remember. So I had a lot of blessings to do it, and I'd like to pay that forward and create that opportunity for some other people as well.
Right. That's great. And just building that community of women in business, and in a business like yours where it's mostly male dominant,
Mhm.
is such an important thing. I find that the natural evolution of business owner, let's call it, or entrepreneur is in the beginning when they start out, it's more about themselves, getting their business set up. But now, like I'm going into what I call my wisdom years, and it's definitely a shift. For me, it's about how do I help the next generation? How do I inspire and help others to build their business? That's why I'm in coaching. But I think you're on that same path. Is there must be something greater than just us and our business out there, right? What does community look like, and what's it for the next woman? So I love that you're doing that.
To say it was kind of something I never expected to happen, but right when I started my own business, I started meeting really just amazing women. So I ended up hosting this happy hour with Thaker Financial event that I think it's about 3 years now, and I'm just amazed at the women who want to talk about their money, but maybe have always not known where to go or who to ask. So there's definitely an opportunity here, for men in the industry too, to realize that there's maybe just a different way to have some of the conversations a bit more holistically than just numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I love that you make it so easy for people and that holistic aspect because, let's face it, we are human as a whole. It's not just one aspect of us. It's not just business. It's not just, financial. It's not just retirement. It's not just investment. It's the whole thing. How does everything play together? Right? Yeah. That's awesome. Any last things to share before we kind of introduce how to find your contacts with the audience?
Yeah, I just thought one thing I kind of missed, which really ties together my helping you live your best financial life and health as well, is I do believe health is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic. And money is energy. In the world that we live in, that is still one of the greatest forms of exchange. So how do we increase our financial literacy so that we feel comfortable to go out and say, this is what my best financial life would look like, or my best life, and who are the people I can partner with to get there and build that life that I want to have?
Right. Yeah. Thanks for that tip. That is so good. So if our audience is trying to connect with you, how do they find you? And tell us about Happy Hour. Is that online? How do they get into that?
Yeah. So if you want to find out more about Happy Hour, you will need to either send me an email or catch up with me on social media. The one great thing about having a unique name like Thaker is I'm quite easy to find as long as you don't put a C in the last name. Right. So my social media handles are Thaker Financial, Thaker, no C, and my website is Thaker Financial as well. So, very easy to find. And if someone's interested in joining the Ladies Happy Hour, send me an email, send me a message on social media, or send me a note through my website, and I'd love to have a chat.
That's awesome. Thank you again for being on. And if anyone here listening to this and watching this is just want to start that light conversation about financials, check out Jen's Happy Hour. And, she's such an easy person to talk to. I'm sure she's going to help you figure out that. Thank you so much for being on, Jen.
Thanks, Eric.
I hope you liked that video, and I hope it gave you that final push to just go and start your own business. In life, everything is about aligning with your purpose and passion, because that's really what living life to the fullest is all about. So I hope that you find that also. If you like this video, please share it to your network. I want to help others out there, and also give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, to help me grow this channel so I can bring on more of these interviews so that everyone can benefit from it. I'm Eric Lee with Starfish Coaching, and I can turbocharge your success.